You are watching part 1 of the full series of Java Spring Boot interview questions. These are the 5 questions we are going to discuss in this session. What is Spring Boot? What are the benefits of using Spring Boot for application development? What are the key features of Spring Boot? What do you mean by Spring Boot starters? What is the purpose of the Spring Boot application annotation? First question, what is Spring Boot? Spring Boot is a framework designed to simplify the development of Spring-based applications. It builds upon the Spring framework, providing a convention over configuration approach and auto-configuration capabilities. Unlike the Spring framework, which requires explicit configuration, Spring Boot aims to minimize boilerplate code and provides defaults for various components. This makes it easier to get started with Spring-based applications. Second question, what are the benefits of using Spring Boot for application development? Here are some benefits of using Spring Boot for application development. First, simplified setup and configuration through auto-configuration and starter dependencies. Second, reduced boilerplate code, enabling developers to focus more on application logic. Third, enhanced testability through the provision of test utilities and annotations. Last, embedded server support, allowing applications to be run as standalone jar files. Third question, what are the key features of Spring Boot? Some of the key features of Spring Boot include: first, auto-configuration. Spring Boot automatically configures Spring-based applications based on dependencies and defaults. Second, starter dependencies. This includes the pre-packaged dependencies that simplify the setup of specific application features or technologies. Third, developer tools. Spring Boot provides tools that enhance developer productivity, such as automatic application restarts and live reload. Fourth, Actuator. Actuator provides endpoints for monitoring and managing applications at runtime. Next question, what do you mean by Spring Boot starters? In the context of Spring Boot, starters are a set of convenient dependency management providers that one can include in a Spring Boot application. Starters are a collection of dependency descriptors, which can help simplify your dependency management. For instance, if you want to get started with Spring JPA, you just have to include the Spring Boot Starter Data JPA dependency and everything required for it, like Hibernate, Spring Data, etc., will be added to your application. Here's an example of what the Spring Boot starter for JPA might look like in a pom.xml file. By including this dependency, Spring Boot provides all the required dependencies for creating a JPA application. Next question, what is the purpose of the Spring Boot application annotation? The Spring Boot application annotation is a convenience annotation provided by Spring Boot. It serves as the entry point for the Spring Boot application. It combines 3 commonly used annotations at configuration, at enable auto-configuration, and at component scan. With that Spring Boot application, developers can enable auto-configuration, component scanning, and configuration properties in a single step. Hope you have learned something and feel confident to answer the questions we discussed so far. Here's the list of questions that will be discussed in the next session. Please check out our playlist for more questions and subscribe our channel for updates and notifications. Good luck for your upcoming interviews.